They smiled in your face, didn't they? Promised loyalty, painted dreams of togetherness. But when the time came, they showed their true colors. Trust, they said, was a gift. But you gave it to the wrong people, and now you're left questioning everything, your choices, your instincts, your worth. Why did they do this? Why did you let them? Here's the hard truth. Betrayal isn't just an action, it's a revelation. It strips away illusions and forces you to see people for who they really are. But what if I told you this pain is your power? That every scar they gave you is proof of your strength, not your weakness. Stay with me, because this isn't the story of how they broke you. It's the story of how you'll rise, stronger than ever before. Trust is one of the most fragile gifts we give. It's what binds relationships, fuels partnerships, and creates the foundation of everything meaningful in life. But what happens when that trust is shattered? What happens when the people you counted on turn out to be the very ones who tear you apart? Today, we're diving deep into the truth about betrayal, not just the pain it leaves behind. This isn't just another motivational video. This is about finding strength in the wreckage, about turning the deepest wounds into weapons of resilience. By the end of this video, you'll understand why betrayal isn't the end. It's a beginning. You'll see how the strongest people in history turned their darkest moments into defining victories. So, if you've ever been betrayed, abandoned, or underestimated, this video is for you. Let's uncover how trust, once broken, can become the fuel for your unstoppable rise. Betrayal isn't just a single act. It's a ripple that shakes every part of your life. It starts with a moment, a harsh word, a broken promise, or a knife in your back from someone you thought would always stand beside you. At first, it doesn't feel real. You question everything. How could they do this? Didn't I matter to them? The pain isn't just in the betrayal itself. It's in the trust you freely gave, now shattered beyond recognition. But here's the thing. Betrayal doesn't stop at the act. It seeps into your mind, creating self-doubt and anger. You replay the moments, trying to figure out where you went wrong, how you missed the signs. It's isolating, because the people you once leaned on are gone, and suddenly you're left standing alone in the storm. And then there's the guilt. Was it my fault? Did I deserve this? You start to believe the lies they fed you. That maybe you weren't good enough, strong enough, or smart enough to see it coming. This cycle of self-blame eats away at you, making you question your value. But let's not sugarcoat it. The world is harsh, and not everyone has your best interests at heart. The problem is, when you've been betrayed, it feels like a wound that never heals. It's not just about what they did, it's about what's left behind. A broken sense of security and a fear of trusting again. Now, you're stuck in a cycle. You want to move forward, but the fear of being hurt again holds you back. You want to rise, but the weight of betrayal feels like a chain dragging you down. This is the challenge that so many of us face. How do you rebuild yourself after someone you trusted tore you apart? How do you find the strength to trust again, not just others, but yourself? You might think the answer lies in avoiding trust altogether, but here's the truth. That pain you're feeling right now, it's not your end, it's your beginning. The scars they left behind aren't signs of weakness. They're proof that you survived. And survival is the first step to becoming unbreakable. Betrayal feels like the end of the road. But what if I told you that it's actually the start of something far greater? Every scar, every wound, every broken piece of you has the potential to become your greatest weapon. It's not about avoiding pain. It's about using it to transform. Think about this. Some of the most resilient people in history didn't rise despite their betrayals. They rose because of them. Take Thomas Edison, for example. Many people don't know that his early investors turned their backs on him, doubting his abilities and leaving him to face failure alone. But he didn't crumble. Instead, he turned their doubts into fuel, working tirelessly until he created the light bulb, something the world couldn't ignore. His betrayal wasn't his downfall. It was his spark. This is the lesson betrayal teaches us. It forces us to confront what we're truly made of. At first, you might feel powerless, like your trust was wasted. But when you strip away the illusions, you're left with the raw truths. Your strength isn't in who you trusted. It's in your ability to rise after they failed you. Look at yourself. Think about all the times you've been knocked down, not just by betrayal, but by life itself. Each time, you had two choices: stay down or rise, and each time, you chose to rise. That's the power betrayal gives you. It sharpens your instincts, teaches you who to trust, and most importantly, it reveals your resilience. But let's get practical. How do you turn betrayal into power? First, stop blaming yourself. The actions of others are a reflection of them, not you. They chose to betray, to deceive, to hurt. But you choose what happens next. Instead of replaying the betrayal in your mind, start focusing on what you can control, your growth. Second, take the lesson and leave the pain. Every betrayal teaches you something. It might be to trust your gut, to set boundaries, or to recognize red flags sooner. Keep strong, act like a brave. Instead of letting the betrayal define you, let it refine you. Write down what you've learned and use it to build a stronger version of yourself. Third, invest in yourself. When others try to tear you down, the best revenge is to build something they can't touch. I'm sure you've all heard of her book, Scaling Up. History is full of people who used betrayal as fuel. Oprah Winfrey, for instance, was betrayed by her own family when they sold stories about her to the tabloids. Did she give up? No. She channeled that hurt into building an empire that's defined by authenticity and empowerment. Finally, and this might be the hardest part, forgive. Not for them, but for yourself. Forgiveness doesn't mean letting them off the hook. It means freeing yourself from the weight of their actions. When you hold on to anger, you give them power over you. But when you forgive, you take that power back. Betrayal feels like destruction, but in reality, it's transformation. It breaks the parts of you that are too soft, too trusting, too dependent on others' validation. And it rebuilds you into someone who is stronger, sharper, and more self-reliant. So the next time you think about what they did to you, stop and ask yourself, what did I gain? You gained clarity. self-respect, and an unshakable will. They thought they could break you, but all they did was forge someone unstoppable. Remember, your journey doesn't end with their betrayal. It begins there. And from this point forward, every step you take isn't just a step away from the pain. It's a step toward becoming the strongest version of yourself. There comes a moment in every story of betrayal when the pain shifts. It's not immediate. It happens slowly, almost without you realizing it. At first, it's all-consuming. This weight pressing down on your chest, making you feel like you'll never escape it. But then something changes. Maybe it's a small victory, a realization, a spark of defiance, or even a simple moment of clarity. For me, it was this. I looked in the mirror and realized I wasn't broken. I was forged. Every scar they left on me, every time they tried to tear me down, wasn't a mark of weakness. It was proof of my resilience. The person staring back at me wasn't a victim anymore. I was someone who had been to the edge, faced the abyss, and come back stronger. In that moment, I stopped asking, "Why did this happen to me?" and started asking, "What can I do with this pain?" That shift is where transformation begins. It's the realization that the betrayal didn't break you, it revealed you. It stripped away everything unnecessary and left behind someone who is raw, real, and powerful. Oh, think about the people who betrayed you. They expected you to crumble, to shrink, to give up. That was their plan. But now, you hold the power they tried to take. The moment you decide to stop carrying their actions like a burden and instead use it as fuel, that's when everything changes. This isn't about revenge. It's about showing yourself and the world that their betrayal wasn't the end of your story. It was the turning point, the catalyst for you to rise, to become someone they could never have imagined. Now, look at your scars. Not with shame, but with pride. Each one tells a story of survival, of lessons learned, of strength that can't be taken away. The person you were before the betrayal, they're gone. But the person you've become, unyielding, unbreakable, unstoppable, that's the real you. And now, it's your time to rise. They thought they'd defeated you, but they didn't realize they were forging someone stronger. And now, their betrayal is no longer your pain, it's your power. Betrayal is a fire that burns, but it also forges. It's a test, one that strips away the illusions and leaves you standing face to face with your own strength. The scars it leaves aren't signs of weakness, they're proof of survival, of resilience, of growth. Through the pain, you've learned that trust is precious, not to be given lightly. You've discovered the truth about people, their intentions, their loyalty, their limits. But most importantly, you've uncovered the truth about yourself. You're not defined by what happened to you. You're defined by what you chose to do next. Every step you've taken since that betrayal has been a step toward transformation. You've taken the lessons it offered and turned them into tools for growth. You've replaced doubt with clarity, fear with determination, and anger with power. The person you are now, they're stronger, sharper, and wiser. The betrayal didn't destroy you, it built you. It forced you to see your worth and taught you that you don't need anyone's validation to stand tall. So the next time you think back on those moments of betrayal, don't see them as defeats. See them as milestones on your journey to becoming unbreakable. Trust was a gift they didn't deserve, but your resilience, that's something no one can take from you. This is your time now. Your time to rise, to grow, to thrive. You've already survived the worst they could throw at you. Now, it's time to show the world what you're truly capable of. Remember, betrayal isn't your ending. It's the beginning of your greatest story yet. If this resonated with you, don't let it end here. Hit the like button, share this video with someone who needs to hear it, and subscribe for more powerful insights like this. Drop a comment below and tell me, what's one lesson betrayal has taught you? Let's rise together.